everybody, welcome back to my channel, Made with Love. My name is Heather and I'm doing a crafting project, but I'm using my kitchen island because I hurt my arm, so I can't sit down on my crafting table. So I have these 4 deer here. I love these two. They're the black, sparkle with the white antlers that also have the sparkle in them. So I want my deer to kind of all match. There was a time when I didn't mind having a white deer and this deer, and I had some other deers, and I had the different trees that all matched. But I got rid of everything, so I just kept to these 4 deer. These two I bought a couple years ago at Superstore, and I love the classic of just being black and white. So I'm not touching those two. That's gonna be my inspiration. I wanna make it look like a nice big deer family. So now these ones, I've had to repair their antlers. I've already glued them all on. I think I had to repair, their antlers too. The antlers always just seem to fall off. So I might do a little bit of touch up around here by hand, just because to hide some of that hot glue. But this one lost its antlers, so I've hot glued that in. And this one here also lost his antlers, so I've had to do a lot of hot gluing. And then over the years, the silver on this antlers have just come off. So all I've got is, do I even have it here? Oh, I did, but I didn't grab everything. So I have the enamel black paint that I'm gonna spray paint the deer in black. And I also have some glitter, which I left in my craft room. So I'm gonna do a quick coat of the black and then put on the glitter at the same time. And then for their antlers to match the other 2 deer, I have just the flat white 2x Ultra Cover Paint and Primer by Rust-Oleum. And I also have a couple different silvery glitter. So I got like a thicker, chunkier one, and I have a fine glitter. I'll probably just use the fine glitter. Just depends, maybe I might put a few flicks of the chunky one on all 4 of the deer. I haven't decided, but when I was looking for glitter, this was the first one I could find that was silver, and then I did find the smaller fine silver. And I do have some other dark silver, so I gotta go, or not, other glitter to go with the black, so I'll have to grab that one in a moment. But I will meet you in my garage when I paint these. But I also have this little house, or I guess it's not a house, a little church. And you can tell it's like a poured porcelain white, but they've aged it, and I don't really like the yellowing that has happened. I don't know if that's a natural yellowing, although the way it's starting to look, it looks like they actually painted something on here, because there are parts around the little steeple where it's bright white, and then you've got this more of this aged look. So I think they actually purposely made it look old. So for this one, I'm actually going to spray paint it in this Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Cover in the paint and primer, and the color Satin Nutmeg. Kind of give it a nice Christmassy, like a gingerbread effect. And then I have some other paintbrush or whatever, and then I can do all the detailing in my craft room doing that. So that is what I'm going to be spray painting. So I'm going to do 2 deer and the little church. So I will meet you in my garage in just a few moments. All right, so I'm just going to spray the church first with, I said, the Satin Nutmeg. Just saying it would just be the perfect, like a Christmas color, so it will look like a little gingerbread house. Didn't shake it well enough, it's all running. That happens sometimes. I'm not too worried about drips on the first coat. That's a good first coat. Just let that dry. When I'm painting lots of different projects, I try to stick the lid that the colors or what I'm painting next to the items so I don't forget. Oops, I see the spot I missed at the front here. And I could have got that on the second coat, but I'm sitting right here and it's just a bright white. Okay, now I will do the deer. I'm going to do their antlers first. I'm going to spray them in the white. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky when I'm doing the deer. I want to do because the ears are going to be black. So I thought if I just do this, because I'm probably going to end up spraying a bit of their ears with the white. Just so I can kind of hide some of that hot glue a little bit easier. And I'm going to take the silver glitter, which I forgot to open. It does have this little paper here, if I can get it out. And I can just shake it. Don't think I'm going to be able to get that paper out today, or at least right now, so I'm just going to sprinkle the glitter on. Oops, maybe too much glitter. There. Don't know how well the glitter is showing up on camera, but I think that looks perfect. I realized I should have put down a piece of paper so I can pick up the glitter. So I'm going to go do that. You probably didn't even see me do that because I didn't have my camera down far enough. Okay, like I said, I'm just going to grab a piece of paper because I don't want to waste all this glitter. Okay, so now I'm going to do the second deer. Just going to move the paper out of my way so I don't get spray paint all over the paper. And this one is going to probably be a little easier because the antlers are bigger. Down a piece of paper. Let's get just the glitter that's on this paper and just shake the glitter on. I know, if I'm working with glitter, I'm just going to get glitter everywhere. That's okay. I'm out in my garage. And I think I just totally missed the antler completely. Oh, that looks so good. I'm really liking the way that looks. I'm just gonna let this dry, but that is such a huge difference. So now I'm just gonna set this glitter paper aside, and I'll show you what I did to get the glitter off the board. I just ran and grabbed one of my little cleaning brushes here, something like a broom, and I just swept it onto the paper. There. Pick this up. I'm just going to set this one there. Now I'm going to start doing the black. Now I don't have any black or dark glitter, but what I did find is I've got this one here. It's kind of like a multi-colors, and I just thought that might look really good because it's black. You're not going to really see the color. I just want the sparkle. I don't even know how well this is covering. I can't really tell. The glitter is actually showing through this. No, I may not even use any of the glitter on this one. I think I'm just going to spray paint it like this. Just a very thin coat and just let it dry because I'm liking the way it's looking. Got this really antique brass or bronze kind of color. I'm not going to do the head because I have to hold it by the back to do the head. So I'm going to let that dry like that. Same with this one. Let's just see how this one turns. So if I start spraying it with the black. Oh yeah, the glitter's showing right through. And I don't know if you can tell how much dimension this deer has, like these geometric shapes in the body, and legs, but it's really showing up in the black. See, I don't even think I have to add any glitter to these. That would be amazing, just the antlers. So I'm just going to continue to spray this and let this dry, do a second coat on these deer. And then I will be back. All right, so this is after one coat of spray paint has dried. I love this tall deer. I'm not doing any more spray paint. It looks good. The other deer, I think, I'm just gonna grab this other one here. This is the hammered spray paint. I'm just gonna see if I just do a light coat with this hammered one and just see if I can get a little bit more of this bronzy stuff, you know, kind of covered up a little bit. You know, this other paint might be a little bit thicker. I mean, if not, I don't mind it being a little more bronzy color. That's fine. But I just kind of wanted my deer to match a little bit better. But I don't think I can cover up, just tripped over a box. I don't think I can cover up this bronzy glitter. It just wants to kind of come through. So I'm just going to leave that like that, let that dry. That looks really cool. I'm just going to leave that as is. I'm just going to fix this side of his face and down this side of his body like that. That looks good. Now I'm just going to do a quick little spritz with this hammered one on this deer. Not a big coat, just a thin little coat, just so it'll have a little bit more of the same texture as the other one. And I'm not worried about the little bit of black that is on the antlers. I can always fix that later, but right now I just really like the way that these two deer are looking. So I'm just going to let them dry. And then for the little church, I have done 2 coats of the paint on here. Oops, I'm just going to say, I did see where right here just need a little bit, but kind of missed. It does happen. Even when you do 2 full coats, sometimes a spot will just kind of miss, especially when there's a lot of detail like this. So just take your time spray painting stuff with lots of detail. Do, you know, several small coats if needed, especially under edges or where there's windows and stuff. So So that, I'm just gonna let that dry. I'm just trying to get under that little ledge there. The paint just kind of wants to drip off. So I'm just gonna let that dry. And I'm just gonna let these two deer dry. And then I will be back to finish off what I'm gonna do with the deer. And I'm gonna finish off the gingerbread house as well. Okay, so these are the two deers that I had bought. They were already the black and the white. Now what I did to make them look a little bit more high-end is I just took a piece of this really cheap fluffy stuff. This is actually off of an old Santa hat or stocking or something, so it's that really cheap looking thing. But I just wrapped it around and I just hot glued it, and it kind of gave the deer this more high-end look, which I like that faux fur around their neck. But like I said, when I did these two deers a few years ago, this is what I had on hand, so this is what I used. Now I actually have the real faux fur trim. It's a lot better. Just gotta grab my X-Acto knife. It's glue sticks just on the other side of the island. So I've got this stuff here. This one here is from the Dollarama, so it's really nice. This is what I use for the gnomes that I make for their beards. So it's super nice. Now obviously this is like twice as thick as their neck. So I'm just gonna fold it with the fur in on itself just so I can see, you know, how it's a little bit easier. Even that's gonna be too thick. So I still need it like a quarter of this for these two deers. But I'm just gonna see how much I need to go around their neck. I'd rather cut off too much than not enough. I just hold it there and just wrap it around to where it meets. So about there, but I'm gonna give myself a little more room. So I'm just gonna cut off a chunk to about here. So I've got my X-Acto knife. I have a better one, I just don't know where it is, so I'm going to use this one. I should grab my cutting mat. That will actually kind of help me better do this too, but I'm just going to make a little mark so I know right where my finger was. There. If I can get through this, sometimes it's just tricky to get in the first little ones. And when cutting through this, it's always best to work from the back so you don't wreck the faux fur. So I'm just going to go and grab my cutting board. I'm standing in my kitchen, so I just grabbed my actual just regular cutting board, not even my craft mat. There's no point. I'm here in the kitchen just trying to, you know, do this. Just grab what's handy. So I'm just going to cut down. Make sure I'm holding my X-Acto knife blade down and just kind of cut straight through. Slowly, just take your time. You just want to cut through this top meshy stuff. I'm not quite sure, but it's called like a mesh material thing. And then you'll find that you just get a lot cleaner looking finished edge. So you can see that the edges are all the same on both sides. So now here's my deer. Just make sure it is the right width. Yep. Or the right, I have to go around, I need the right length. I'm just going to decide how, maybe I'll just use this because this was about a good size. So I'm just going to lay this across here. So it looks like about here is a good, same thing, just from the back. Help if I had my knife going the right way. I do that sometimes, and you pick the knife up and you've got the blade sitting the wrong way. Now it's a little harder cutting the cross the faux fur, but you just have to go slowly and just take your time, and it should be able to get off. Flip it this way just so I can pull down towards myself. It's so much easier to pull the knife towards you than away. Just gonna make sure this. It's gonna fit on like that, and I've got enough room to give it a little dab of hot glue, but look at how much better that will look. So I'm gonna I'm gonna set him down because he wants to fall over. Just gonna make sure I get the fur going the right direction. Lay this down again and just trim up there. I do have the knife going the right way this time. Just having trouble getting it to start. Like I said, just take your time cutting through the material. You'll eventually cut through, but it's better to go in small little chunks than try to get it all done at once. I think I went a little crooked here. That's okay. And sometimes I find if I just pull it up, if a piece gets stuck, you can try to put the knife under that one little piece and pull it up towards you. Kind of helps. You're not going to break, you're not going to wreck the faux fur. Especially when you're at the finished edge, like where they had kind of cut it, so it's kind of like a burnt type of an edge or like a melted piece. Sometimes it's hard for the X-Acto knife to get through that, but just have to go slow. And the more times you cut with this faux fur, you'll find little tricks that'll make it easier for you to cut with. But it's just always best to go slow and from the back. Like I said, see, I got it pulled apart, but there's still just two little pieces of thread still holding that together. So you just take the knife and just kind of do like a quick little zigzag trim. I'm just going to kind of comb this out. That's the other thing is I don't have a comb right here, but I do like to take a comb and it kind of combs out any of this extra little fluffy stuff that's just loose. Like that. So I'll just put a little bit of hot glue. Of course, I do want to make sure the seam of this lines up with the seam of the deer. So I don't want the seam to be, visible from the front. Not as much. There, that would look good. So I'll just glue those on in 1 second. So I'm just going to go grab the other two deer and do the same thing. Okay, so these ones are still, well, this one here was the really kind of gold coppery one. It is still really tacky, so I don't want to put the faux fur on there to know how much I need. So I'm just going to use my tape measure and just kind of measure about how many inches I'll need. Looks like about 4 inches around that neck, and then this one looks like I will need, oops, I can just find the widest part, kind of. I'd rather cut it too big than too small, so it looks like about 5 inches. And then even the width of this is too long for this one. So, let's see. That's a good width for that, and it needs about. So that's a good width for this size of deer. This one, I think, I'm just going to check this and see what should be. Yeah, that's a good one. So I need to cut out the two pieces. Just gonna find this. I need 4 inches and 5 inches. I'm gonna do the 5 inch first. Put that there. Cutting towards myself is easier, but sometimes I can just pull it away from myself and I can get it to cut through, especially when I want to get this done. Okay. So I need the 5 inches, and I need the one to be about this width and one to be about that width. So look at that. I can cut the 2 out of the same one just by cutting it about here. If I can get it started, is it's just also helps if you kind of like, as you cut, kind of pull it apart. I'm gonna say, I've never noticed like, making my gnomes and anything with this faux fur trim, if my line is perfectly straight or not. If you want, you can always just cut and draw yourself a line. If you want a project and you want like a perfectly finished edge. But for crafting, for me, I just, you know, doesn't have to be exact, perfect for every craft. There is times when I will measure and draw lines. Just can't seem to cut through. I think my blade is dull. That's gotta be most of the problem. But like I said, this is the only one I can find. This one is kind of one of my favorite, but it's not the one I love to use with this fur. Okay, I'm just going to comb this down. I'm just going to use my fingers. I'd really prefer to actually have an actual comb to do this because you can get rid of all the loose stuff a lot better. Okay, so now this was an extra piece that didn't fit on anything, and I've got these pieces now. So I'm going to start with this big deer. Make sure that is perfect. So I'm just going to, where's my glue sticks? I was gluing things, so my glue gun just needs another glue stick in here. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. If I can get this to work now. Just a little bit of glue just at the base of the neck, kind of so right where I know where I want it to line up. Make sure I got my fur going the right direction, and my camera just wants to tip. So I want to start on this side here. And I want to wrap it around. So then the fur will be finished and the seam for the fur will be in the back, kind of. I don't have that quite right. This deer's got this odd shaped neck. It's just a little bit hard to get this to come around, but that's okay. Just to take your time and just slowly get it to go around. Just a little bit of glue. Doesn't take a lot of glue to glue this trim on. Like that. There we go. Look at that deer. Look at how much better. This was the white deer with the gold antlers. And I'll do this deer. And this is the one that was the bronzy color. Got the other deer's tangled in my cord. Just put a little bit of glue kind of where I know where along the line of where the seam is. So I kind of know where I want to kind of start and end. Put it there and just bring it around. And just kind of, I've got some spray paint stuck in here. That's okay. I can clean that up in a few moments. I'm not too worried about a little bit of, what happened to my glue gun? Okay. I'm not too worried about a little bit of black spray paint in the white fur at this moment, because I will just pick that out as it dries. But there, this is the one that was all that coppery color. And then I'm now down to the last two, which I'm just gonna go wash my hands before I touch anything else. All right, I just had to get more of that glittery paint and stuff off my hands just before I touch the last two deer. So it's the same thing. Just put a little bit of hot glue. What is this, glue stick? Happens sometimes the glue stick just does not want to go in. Just put a little line of glue right where the seam is, so you kind of know right where you want to start and end. You start there, and you just wrap the faux fur around, and a little dab of glue on the other part of the fur. I don't use a lot of glue because I'd like, might change my mind on if I like this faux fur on their necks. I like the option that I can always take the fur off. And last one. Oops. Like this year I want it with the fur, maybe next year I don't want the fur, so I don't want to overuse the glue on the fur. And there. Oops. I got the family of deer. Now I'm looking at them saying, I think they need something else. I have some bells. I think they need bells on their little collars. So I'm just gonna go grab the bells. So I have these tiny little bells that I bought from the dollar store. I forget how many you get in a pack. It's gotta be like 30 or 50 in a pack. So I've got the 3 colors I'm using this year, which is red, green, and gold. So I'm just gonna lay these out. I'm gonna give the 3 of them 1 each. And then the larger one, I'm gonna actually make it, I'm gonna give the larger one 2 of each color. So I've got it red, just wanna make sure I get the right pattern. So I'm doing red, gold, green. I'm just gonna glue the bells right on. They look like they're part of maybe Santa's team. I like to do the middle one first, just so I get it centered, and then I can evenly space out the other 2. So I'm not too worried about, hot glue dripping down at the moment. I can clean that up. But now they all look like it was one big set, and they are all this faux fur just everywhere. You know what, actually, I think I'm gonna change my mind on that big deer. I think I actually have these bells in a size larger. I'm just gonna go quickly see if I have the bells in a larger size, only because of the thickness of that fur. This little bell looks just too small on there, so I'll just be right back. Well, I went searching. I found red, gold, and silver. I didn't find any green, so for the larger one, I guess it'll just be 3 other colors. I don't think it really matters, but I do want a bell that will actually look a little bit bigger. I think it just fits better with the size of the little muff. So I'm just gonna pull these apart. These are these door hanger bells. I bought these are called doorknob hangers. I bought these so many years ago, and I just kind of take the pieces off for other things. Like some of them, the ribbon is really nice. This one, it looks like a nice wreath. I mean, you can tell like all the bells are completely gone off of this one. So I thought I had, and there's a silver one. So I just grabbed a bunch of these just so I can do this. So this deer will have a slightly different color of bells, but I don't think it matters. So I'm going to put the red one in the center. I just think as long as they all have, you know, 3 bells, it's going to look like a really good set. And the other side, I'll put the silver bell. I'm just putting a lot of glue on this one only because these bells are heavy and I just don't really want them to fall off. There. So we've got our deer family here all done. I'm just going to set them in the other room and then I'll be back in my craft room to finish the little gingerbread house. Okay, so welcome back. I've got the little church here ready to get painted. So I just quickly ran to go through my stash to see what I kind of have for little ornaments. I do have a couple of these. I can only find one tonight. So I'm deciding if I want to put a real tree on the side of there or not. I think it'd be cute. If I can find a second one, then I probably will. I've got a whole bunch of these type of stickers. I just grabbed the 1 pack. I wouldn't be at the sticker stage yet because I've still got to paint everything. But a whole bunch of these little things can kind of make it look like candy on the gingerbread house. I've got a couple packages of these. I thought it'd be cute for a little star or something if I were to make a little wreath for on top of the church. But I think this one is just a little bit too big, but I do have some smaller little ribbon and flower little decoration things. I've got a little set of these little colored washi tapes. These are from the dollar store. I don't remember if it was Dollarama or Dollar Tree, but I thought I'd just bring them out just in case I wanted to do any edging instead of painting, but I don't think I will use these. I think I'm just going to go with my paints. I do have a pack of this little wooden self-adhesive ornaments, and this one's got the little angels in it. I don't know if I can find one angel. There's a little angel. I thought that might be cute because it is a church, so maybe I might stick the angel on one side, maybe the tree on the other. And I have this little pack here, and it's the little nutcracker or elf little guys. I also have some little bits of ribbon here. I thought I could make a nice bow on the church, just above the church door. And I will say, I've got a whole bunch of these little ribbons, and I will say, this one here actually says Forever 21. Shirts and stuff, you know, always come with these little pieces of material or little pieces of ribbon to help hold them on the hangers before you buy them. I always cut them off and I always save them because they work really good for in crafts. I mean, they are just, oh, this is tied in half. They're not that long, but they give enough ribbon for certain projects. So I'm just going to undo one if I can. Just to kind of see how long they are. Got my little measuring board here. So yeah, it's quite long because my measuring thing goes to 30. What's that in centimeters? So I mean, I guess it's a good ruler length of ribbon that you get, and you get 2 pieces because, you know, 1 for each sleeve. So those I've always saved. And then I'm just going to use my paint. So I've got 3 shades of green. There's just some basic acrylic paints. I buy these at Dollarama in those packs of 20 something in a pack. I don't know if it's 22 or 28 for about $4. So I find, you know, you get 12 mils of each color. It's a pretty good deal, especially if you don't need a lot of paint. And then I've got white and black as well. So now I'm just going to move stuff out of my way. Oh, and I was looking and I did find a green bell. So I'm going to undo the bells on that large deer and get the green one on. All this other stuff out of my way. And I'm just going to move this so I can sit down and I'm just going to start painting. Okay, so I've got my glass cutting mat down and a piece of parchment paper only because it is dry to the touch, but I looked this up, you can see that there is still paint around the inside here and stuff that's dripping. So I just don't want to make a mess in my kitchen. And I also have these little trays I get from the dollar store. I don't know if it was Dollarama or Dollar Tree. It looks like it came in a pack of 5 of these. I love these. It's easy to, to use the paint. So I'm going to start with the white. Hasn't been used yet. Put some paint in here. I know I'm going to be doing a lot of white. I don't have any larger tubs, containers of paint at the moment. I wish I did. And I'm just going to find a paintbrush here that's got a good angle to it so I can get around. So I can see. Gonna brush it on. I was gonna add some glitter to this as well, but I think my first coat, I'm not gonna add any of the glitter. But when I paint I know it's gonna take 2, maybe 3 coats of this paint to cover where I want the icing to kind of look like. So I'm kind of painting it kind of not perfect. I'm kind of doing like a swirly paint. I'm kind of lifting up. So I get this little bit of a texture in there. And then I said, when I do my final coat with the white, I'm gonna add some of my clear glitter. I don't know what kind of glitter I have at the moment. I haven't actually looked for white glittery, because I used up the whole container of silver glitter. But I will see what other shades or whatever of glitter I have. So I'm just gonna go all the way around and just paint all where the snow would be. I just wish I would have had some puffy paint, but I don't have puffy paint. It's been a long time since I've had puffy paint, so that would be really cool to use puffy paint to really make the ice, to really look like real icing. But that's okay, I'm just using what I have. Like I said, this is just my first coat, so I'm kind of going a little bit light, just because I don't want to get where I don't want the white to be, because I'm just going very lightly, very carefully, just trying to get everywhere I want it to be. So I'm just going to continue around the whole house, or I guess church, with the white. I guess I'll probably do about 2 coats for sure, maybe even 3. I'll have to see how good of a coverage this gets. And of course, I don't want to make my coats too thick, and then they have trouble drying. So I'd rather do multiple coats of extra thin than doing extra thick and having to wait longer. As I said, there's no point in wasting paint. So I will be back when I get all the white around the church painted. This is how the little church is looking with just 1 coat. So I did make a second coat of the white, and I made it a little bit thicker, but the rest of the church is just the 1 coat. So white for where I want the snow. Around all the windows and the door, I use the black. And then for the trees, I just used the one of my shades of green. Just got to see what the color was. Viridian green is what I used for the trees. And then for the front door here, so I painted the whole door black. My lighting is not very good at the moment. And then I painted the steps black as well, and then I added some white to the black to get a little bit of gray. So I did the cobblestone in gray, and then it has a little border ledge thing that breaks the church up. So I just kind of painted that little border with the gray. And I have to say that it is looking so much better than it looked. And I'm just gonna let this dry, and then I will do a second coat of everything. And like I said, when I did the trees, I got onto the snow. It's okay, I'm just trying to get the paint done. I also got some of the colors on the brown where I don't want it, but that's okay. I can fix that later too. I'm just trying to do my first base coat. So I'm going to let this dry actually overnight. And then I will do a second coat tomorrow, only because the green and the white, I've got quite thick coat. I just really wanted, you know, to get the green kind of lumped in. I can't even get this angled right. But the tree has some, like, see, I'll find this back one here. The tree has like little, oops, the pine tree, there, I go like that. So it's got these little sections that it's made out of. So it's just kind of clumping the paint into that to make sure it's well covered. So I was using a little bit too much paint than I normally would. But like I said, I'm really liking the way it's looking. And I'm just going to let this dry overnight. And then tomorrow I will just finish painting. So I'll be back tomorrow. All right, so here's the church. It's got 2 coats of the green and the black and the gray, and 4 coats of the white where the snow is. And I'm just having trouble turning this around so you can see all the angles of it. I have decided I'm not going to decorate it like a gingerbread house like I was going to. I've decided I'm just going to keep the church this simple basic color. I like it this way. I was going to add a wreath. I think I'm still going to add the little in the corner here, the that little Christmas tree and the little angel on the other side of the door. I think I'm still going to add those just because I think it will just add to the church a little bit more. But I'm not going to do any other decorating. Like I said, I was going to kind of maybe make a little wreath around the door. I don't think I'm going to now. So I'm just going to glue those 2 other little pieces in place. And then same with the deer. I just have to glue that green bell on the deer. And then I will show you the deer and the church displayed on my mantle. Hey, there is the little deer family sitting on my fireplace mantle. And there's the finished church. I really like the way the church came out. I know I was going to make it look more like a gingerbread house, but I like it painted this way because now I can just kind of leave it up almost year round if I wanted to. You know, just kind of stick it up in my cabinet. And I had that little faux tree on the one side and that little wooden sticker angel on the other. And then as soon as the glue dries a little bit more, I will actually paint the hot glue white just so it's less noticeable. Or actually where the where the tree is, I might paint that brown just to make it look like it's in a larger container. I haven't quite decided, but I will definitely be just touching up the hot glue and covering up with paint so it's not so noticeable. I'm just going to stand back so you can see, as I trip over things, stand back so you can see my whole fireplace display. And then this little table here, I just put out my little Santa and the little ceramic plant holder, like little plant vase of, looks like boots. I did that a couple of years ago because that was the color I was doing. So then I'd have this other little Santa sitting here, and I got him a couple of years ago at Value Village. I don't remember if he's either $1.49 to $2.99, somewhere in that price range. But look at his face. My kids think he's the creepiest little Santa they've ever seen. I thought he was cute. He feels like toys I remember having when I was very little. So even the face, like the plasticky face with the whole body like that. I know I've had a doll or two similar to that growing up. That's exactly what it reminded me of, so I knew I had to get it just because I know it's an old Santa. So, if I can just hold my phone. Again, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's subscribing to my channels and watching my videos, and I'll see you in the next ones. Bye.